Now, you've probably heard that DJI have removed the GEO-Zones on their drones. You've probably got a lot of questions about this. Is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? And could it lead to a lot more restrictions for us? Let's get into it. So if you have the DJI Mini 4 Pro, the Air series, the Mavic series, the Inspire series, you know about GEO-Zones. So what are they? So essentially, these are areas on a map which the DJI software may have prevented you from flying your drone, even taking off. And depending on that location, each zone has a different level of enhanced restrictions. Near no-fly zones, you would have a restriction red zone where you could not take off in that area. The software would prevent you. And if you're flying your drone and it actually approaches one of these no-fly zones, you will get this indicator on screen saying you're approaching this zone, and it won't actually let you fly into there. Now, this is a fantastic piece of software, and it kept the skies kind of safe for everybody. It prevented people going into areas they shouldn't be flying. But now all that has gone. And it's not just flight restriction zones. You would have altitude zones, authorization zones, warning zones, enhanced warning zones. And this is basically the same all over the world, especially near airports, prisons, stadiums. It keeps everybody safe and it prevents people causing loads of bother with their drones. But with the latest update, DJI have removed these GEO-Zones, all but one. Now, to actually get this to take effect on your drone, it doesn't just happen automatically. What you need to do is you need to be on the latest DJI flight and firmware update. You need to connect to your drone, so whether it's the Mini 4 Pro or the Air series, the Mavic series, and then you need to go into, once you've connected to your drone, you need to go into settings, you need to go to about, and then you need to scroll down and show you on that latest firmware again, but then you'll see Fly Safe Database. You need to click check for updates. Once you've updated the Fly Safe database, you will see on the actual fly spots menu on the map, all the GEO-Zones are gone apart from just one. Now, there is some conflicting reports that this is only applicable in the US. Now, this just isn't true. If you look on the map here on the DJI fly spots after it's been updated, so if you look in the US, you'll see that enhanced warning zones are the only GEO-Zones you're going to see. But if we go north over the border into Canada, it is still the same. It doesn't actually take effect there. Same with Australia and a few other countries. So it's going to depend where you're living around the world. But in places like the UK, again, it's exactly the same as the US. All the restrictions apart from the enhanced warning zones have gone. This also affects the EU states as well. If I move over to Barcelona on the DJI map, a really populated area, lots of restrictions. You've got an airport there, but it now only shows enhanced warning zones. So I briefly mentioned this on a previous video and loads of you contacted me saying, can I go into this in a bit more detail about the pros and cons of removing these geo restrictions? So for commercial pilots, this is great news. For the actual drone community who want to follow all the rules and have that knowledge, this is great news as well. Let's just say, for example, you're contacted by this company. They want you to get some photos or videos of their building, but it's just within the boundary of a flight restriction zone. So what would you have to do there? Well, you couldn't just go to that area and take off. You need to actually contact the relevant people. So in the UK, the CAA, FAA in the US, you go to the LANACAP and actually ask for approval. Now, for that to be approved, they need to know what you're doing there, the time, the date, what drone you're using, what height you're going to be at, and for how long. Now, say that was approved, you couldn't still just go to that area, take off and get the photos or videos. Even though you've got approval from like the governing bodies, you would have to contact DJI and send them the proof for them to take this restriction off. So then you can fly. It's like a three-step process. And this was a bit hit or miss, especially if you were just on location and you wanted to get approval straight away. It really was hit or miss, and it caused a lot of bother and a bit of a pain, to be honest. I'm sure anybody who has done this will understand where I'm coming from. So there's several ways you can actually look at these GEO-Zones on the DJI software. You don't have to be connected to your drone to do this. So one of them, the most simplest, is if you have like a DJI RC2 controller, on the main screen you'll see before you fly and it'll say fly spots available nearby. You click on that, that's going to now open the DJI fly spots map. Once that's open, it's going to show you all the different GEO-Zones depending on which country that you're actually looking at. It's also going to show you little thumbnails as well of photos or videos that different drone operators have taken and uploaded them to this software. You can also do this on the DJI Fly app on your phone, on iPad, or you can go into the desktop version. Just type in DJI GEO-Zone map. This will open up the same map and you can actually look on a desktop as well in full screen. And when you're looking at that map in countries like the US, UK, EU countries, you'll notice that even around areas which have flight restriction zones, airports, prisons, some stadiums, every single one of these zones is now only showing enhanced warning zone. Now this video is sponsored by me. If you want some more knowledge, tips, tricks on your drones, on my website I have both video alerts, which is going to enhance the quality of your videos. I also have cheat sheets. These go through all the different settings for these drones, how to get the most out of them, the best quality. I have these in digital formats, so you can have them as a physical book that gets sent out to you. And I've also just introduced a 50-page ebook going into a lot more detail, more topics, covering everything that you're going to need to know on that Mini 4 Pro. If you want to go and check out any of these, I'm going to link them at the top of the description. Let's get back into that video. So why is this a bad thing, and what is an enhanced warning zone? Well, let's just say you went to a flight restriction zone. You were pretty close to an airport. You were in this boundary. Before, let's say you had a Mini 4 Pro, you went to take off, the software wouldn't allow you. It would say you're in a restricted zone, you need to get permission, and you're basically grounded. Now that's all gone, so all you have is an enhanced warning zone. So if you go to that same area, you go to take your drone off, you'll just get a message on the screen saying enhanced warning zone, do you take full responsibility of this, blah blah blah, click OK, and you're ready to fly. The drone's like, crack on. So with the likes in the US of remote ID, they already know all your details. So if you're going to be flying in these areas, which is illegal, they know your details and they can trace that owner. But that's not always the case, is it? You see, the Mini 4 Pro in the US, remote ID isn't applicable unless you're actually using the battery plus. It actually puts the drone over 250 grams, in which case then yes, you do need remote ID. Here in the UK, you do need to have an operator ID. So you need to submit your details, your address, your contact details, and you need to display that on your drone. It doesn't matter about the weight, they all need to have that, unless it's like a toy, but we're not getting into that right now. But in the US, we've seen recently in the LA fires, and whilst all these aircraft were helping to put out the fires, somebody thought it'd be a good idea to get their drone in the sky and actually record this for their social media, which ended up that their drone crashed into one of these planes. The plane was grounded, the drone got destroyed, but it did get recovered. Now, because it didn't have remote ID, because it's under 250 grams, it makes it then harder to trace that operator. How long do you think that's going to stay in place? So just because the software is saying that, yeah, you could take off there, it's only enhanced warning zones, there's no like restriction zones anymore, doesn't mean you actually can. And I think for beginner pilots, somebody who doesn't know about all these rules, never heard of apps like Drone Assist, never heard of restriction zones, somebody could literally just go and buy this drone and have no knowledge about this whatsoever. I think by having the software giving them the full freedom pretty much to fly wherever they want is a recipe for disaster. So let's just say in the UK, for example, you've got Manchester Airport. A beginner pilot could go onto Amazon, buy the DJI Mini 4 Pro, not register it with the CAA, not have any knowledge about restriction zones, have any knowledge about GEO-Zones, nothing whatsoever. They could live in one of these houses here and they could go and get their drone and take it off in their garden, even though it's in a flight restriction zone and it's in direct line of the approach runway at Manchester Airport. In the US, you've got the Las Vegas Strip, a very restricted area, airports, military airports, the Vegas Strip with thousands of people. Lots of the hotels actually have drone detection equipment on them, but on the DJI Fly Spots app, you can actually go into here and you will see enhanced warning zones. Even though you've got a really busy airport, you've got a military airport just north of the Strip, you've got restriction zones all over it. Just look what it looks like on the DJI Fly Spots app compared to what it actually looks like in terms of real life restrictions. You'll see is a massive difference. It's basically just lit up red everywhere. Las Vegas, very difficult to fly your drone without proper approval. But with the DJI Fly Spots app, you look at this and going, oh, it's just an enhanced warning zone. I'll take responsibility. Let's go. I think for beginners, it's going to get harder to actually flying your drone. You're going to have to take more tests or knowledge. It's the only way. Otherwise, anybody could just go and get one of these. One more example for you. So I've got a tourist who goes to Santa Monica Pier. This area is a flight restriction zone because you've got the Santa Monica Airport just behind it, and you've also got LAX, one of the busiest airports in the world. A tourist goes there, they might not even know about Santa Monica Airport. They might not know about all the restrictions in this area. They look at their drone, they go to take it off and it just says enhanced warning zone. They click OK and they take that off. So what I would say is don't even follow any of the advice from the DJI Fly Spots map. This is just going to, especially for beginners, land you in a lot of trouble. It's really not good to just go off this. You need to be using dedicated drone or flight maps. So in the UK, you've got Drone Assist. This is free. It will show you a full map of all the restriction zones, gives you details of the air traffic control in that area. You can even record your flight details and information. So it'll actually put that on the map and actually show other drone operators as well. this is the best way of doing it. In the US, you've got Before You Fly, a fantastic website. You've got Aloft. There's so many different maps out there that a lot of them are free, and you can see all these different restriction zones. That's what you need to be concentrating on to look, is it safe to fly and legal in that area, not the DJI Fly Spots app. And by DJI removing these GEO-Zones, it takes all the software implications out of it, that safety nets, and puts all the onus on you. You're fully responsible for this. If you fly in these flight restriction zones, you know, these fines, these prison sentences, what happens if you actually had a crash with a commercial airline, you crash your drone over a stadium with 50, 60,000 people in there? All these implications are just going to get put onto other drone operators. And if people don't follow this, I think one of the areas which will 100% happen is that it won't matter anymore about the weight of the drone. No matter if you fly the Mini 4 Pro, the Air series, the Mavic series, it will all be a level playing field. All pilots will have some kind of remote pilot ID. So then if you're flying in these restriction areas, they know exactly who you are, where you live, etc. So that's the downside of it. It means that the Mini 4 Pro or any of the Mini series drones, the freedom that you have flying these in more places, over people, all that potentially could go. So whilst this is great for commercial pilots or those leisure pilots who follow the right channels and go and seek approval and fly their drone responsibly, this is great news that DJI have taken this restriction off. But it's just for that small percentage of either beginner pilots who don't have that knowledge, or people will just fly regardless anywhere and cause loads of bother and problems, and then we all get these huge restrictions. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? If you've got any more questions on it, just let me know and I'll try and feed back to the majority of you. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favour and hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.